Hey guys, thank y'all for coming back once again. I am Amy.
I am Michelle.
Yep, and we are two of the many warrior moms that have lost children.
That's right. A club that no one wants to be in. I wanted to share this quote that I found recently. It really sums up why Amy and I and why Christine and Christy really started the Warrior Moms to begin with. The quote says, "Don't let our tests and traumas be for nothing. Let them become the testimonies of victory and triumph and the soft place to fall for someone who needs to hear that they're going to be okay."
That's powerful.
That is powerful.
And that's what I've always heard, like, don't let your test, or allow your test to be your testimony.
Yeah.
And also, the big one I know that several of our warrior moms do, and people all across the board is, one day your story is going to become someone else's survival guide. And I know that so many of these warrior moms ahead of me in their years have been many chapters in my survival guide. I have
absolutely
gone to them and looked at them and watched them and just whether they know it or not.
Yeah. What are you doing currently
Yes.
now
And
when you feel so sad?
excuse me. Yes. It's so sad, but and it does give you power in knowing, okay, they're still getting out of bed.
Yeah.
They're still walking forward. They're still going to the grocery store. They're still doing all of this. So,
and what's interesting when I read that quote, a lot of people, I think, even in our group would say, no, I'm never going to be okay. And I think that okay means something different, the further along in your grief.
I think you're right.
Yeah. And it's not okay as in it's okay that this has occurred. It's okay that we've lost our child. It's just that we have this new normal and we're waking up and we're finding, joy where we can and celebrating our children as well.
Yep. It's so true.
So what are we talking about today?
Today we're going to dive into the physical pain of grief. So I like this topic because people always said grief. And I'm like, okay, grief. Like, oh, that's just grief. Well, what is grief? Well, grief is when you miss somebody so much, or, oh, you had so much love for them, so that's how much you miss them.
The depth of the loss will be the same as your love. Or
yeah,
like that.
And I feel like that's just so cliche, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I wanted to dive deep, and I know that I have these symptoms, is what I call them, or side effects, some people might call them. And I know it made me feel better hearing other people say, me too. And I think you are one of the ones that made me feel the most normal very early on in my journey here, because I can't remember a darn thing.
I know. And you see it in me all the time.
Yes. And we both stare at each other a lot, and I'm hoping that all of our listeners that are grieving, moms too, forgive us when we forget words and say the wrong things.
Even our thinking processes at times is a lot slower.
Yes.
It goes with that. And that, just the physicality of grief is really what we want to talk about today.
Yes, because there are physical symptoms that you are going to feel, that other people are going to see and notice and think, what's wrong with you? There's nothing wrong.
You wonder that too. I remember wondering, like, oh my gosh, is this it? This is what it's going to be every single day.
Yeah. And even my husband looks at me and he goes, "Did you unload the dishwasher today?" And I'm like, "Well, is it empty?" I don't remember.
Right.
Something as simple as that, So, but yeah, these physical pains of grief, and also in conjunction with it, we had conversations with how many of our other warrior moms in our group? 10. Yes. Yeah. So we had a group I shouldn't say a group discussion, but we had a discussion with 10 different of our moms. And so we kind of put it out there. What are your physical symptoms of grief? What, we have some, but what are some of yours? And it was very eye-opening for us to see that. So as we go through these stages of grief, we're going to kind of share.
Yeah. Just what was the percentage of how heavy was this effect physically on us? Was it 50% of the time? Was it almost all the time? And I
Mhm.
think that's kind of interesting to think about. By no way are we, telling anything about
This is not a
true
clinical
psychology.
This is not a clinical study.
Right.
This is, well, I guess 10, 12 moms, including you and I, but
Yeah.
that just experience it, just day-to-day life.
Right.
Yeah, we are not clinical people. We are not doctors. We are not, and we don't even play them on TV.
It's right.
We did not stay at a Holiday Inn Express or nothing.
None of it. Yeah, and it's just, it's where we started today with that quote, is trying to normalize this this
Mhm.
pain that we're going through, and just to be able to talk
Be able
about
to
it
talk
out
about it.
loud. Yeah.
Share with us, since I kind of did my biggest one, which is the brain fog, the memory loss, the you can't remember a darn thing. Um, what was the percentage of that?
That was 70% of us. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, 70% of us, almost all the time. I mean, it was it was surprising and not surprising, right?
Yes.
Because so many of us talk about that.
And we all stared at, we'll go to meetings and go,
we talked about that one thing,
yeah, we were at so-and-so's house, or
Whose
yeah.
house was that? Oh gosh. And we remember strange details. Remember, it was the time when that girl showed up with the green shirt.
Yes, yes, and so,
Yeah.
but I mean, I know a lot of people do that on a daily basis,
Yeah.
but it is to the extreme with us. So,
And with brain fog, I've even asked my coworkers. I've been very upfront with this is part of my grief journey. Is I try my best. I've got journals, I have sticky notes, I have to-do lists all over the place, reminders. But I've asked if you're at a meeting and you think I'm supposed to be there, if you could shoot me a text. Not that it's your responsibility, but
but
may
please,
be.
yes,
It may be
yes.
that
If you want me there, you might have to, and it's not because I don't want to. Well,
Right.
something
And
that
it's
I'm
not-
terrible
and it's
at.
not that we're trying, that we're irresponsible in a way, and I think that's important.
Yes, because it does come across as irresponsible.
Yeah.
I know that in the last month, I have missed or mistakenly given times of the wrong time to get my daughter somewhere.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I had Jeff dressed and ready to go to open house for Layla's school,
hmm
and it was not even that week.
Oh my gosh.
It
Well,
was
you told me that.
yes,
I remember you telling me
yes.
that.
It was the following week,
Oh my
and then
goodness.
also too for a camp, we showed up an hour late.
Oh
I mean,
gosh.
and these are things that are just I put them in my brain. I'm like, okay, we need to leave it. Oh, and I've also been an hour early,
Yeah.
and so and this is all within the last month.
And it's just it's so frustrating.
It is.
And one of the things I've had to do with my daughter is, honey, you're just going to have to put this in your phone. Like, you have to have a reminder, because
Layla looked at me and said,
I
"Do
was
I need to start keeping up with it?" I was like, "If you want to be there on time,
yes, please,
please help."
Which is a great skill for them anyway.
It is. It
But
is.
It is.
It's frustrating.
Something part of this brain fog to remember. I think it's the best way to deal with it is just be honest.
Be honest.
Right?
And I know it's
And find
frustrating for those
tools and-
around me
Mhm.
as well. And I know it's frustrating for those around me. And it's frustrating for us.
Mhm. Yeah.
But like you said, be honest.
Yeah.
Text your coworkers and
I
say,
know, please. Yeah. And that amnesia, I've read about it, this dissociative amnesia really is part of that trauma, even with happy things that happen, that we go through. And someone would be like, well, remember we were at dinner such and such, and it's like just a complete blank. And then maybe as someone talks, you can remember
I know
it,
people
but
that came
gosh.
after Alec passed, came to visit and sat. And I remember telling somebody 6 months, "Oh, you should come out and do it." She's like,
Yeah.
"I saw it. I was there." And I was like, "When?" Like, still to this day, don't
Right.
remember having. She was there. Me, you, and Jeff sat outside for like 2 hours. And I still don't, and you feel you're embarrassed.
I know.
But ask for forgiveness. That's all.
Yeah,
And
be
forgive
honest about
yourself.
where you're-
Be honest.
Yes.
Give me
Be
another
gentle.
one. Michelle, what's another one that that's big for you?
Oh gosh, let's see. I think, especially in the early, depression, just and that goes with that is just having low energy. I'm a person who's, active and pretty positive all the time. And the exhaustion was at a level I just had no idea. And even if I could get up in the morning and have enough energy throughout the day to teach, I would come home and have to go straight to bed, just beyond exhausted. And that was when I, reached out to, a psychiatrist, a counselor, get all the things and, all the great people involved to help me. How can I be best supported with that?
Well, and I
depression?
remember that you even said, and it's not just in those beginning days.
Mm-mm.
I still struggle with it regularly.
Oh, me too. I'm 7 years out and I'm on the same, prescription that I was.
Yes.
Right
Thank you,
after
Jesus,
losing.
for medications.
Right.
And
Yeah,
I've even had to
still
change my
counseling,
medications and counseling and just to keep up with my depression
Right.
and the anxiety that comes along with this, which is another topic that we'll get to in just a second. But it's real.
It is. And how many of us deal with depression?
70%.
Yeah, 70%. And I think, and that's just, 10, 12 of us. And, when we asked the question, it really was kind of like, have you experienced it and do you still experience it? And that's not surprising, I think, is
No.
the depression piece of it.
I would assume everybody has it.
Yeah.
At some
surprised.
point in that they might not classify it as that, but I always say my get up and go is gone. Like there are times that I just can't lift my hands even.
Yeah. And that lack of energy, Mom said that was 60% of their day-to-day is having that lack of energy, which makes sense with the brain fog, with depression, lack of energy. All of that is physical pain. It's just, it's overwhelming at times.
And that's what I don't think. I think depression is a universal mental health problem that most people don't understand.
Absolutely.
They don't understand. And I know that early on, I shouldn't say even early on, probably 2 years when I finally found a therapist I liked and everything, she taught me to set my timer for 5 minutes and do something.
Yeah.
And if it was just move the clothes from the washing machine to the dryer.
Yeah, little baby steps.
Baby steps. I accomplished something. Check.
Put it on your to-do list and check it off.
And
you did it.
Yes, I did it. And do that 3 times a day. It just that's all you have to do is 5 minutes 3 times a day that you have to be. And a lot of times you'll get in there and you'll be, okay, I can do one more thing. I can put another load in the washing machine. Right. And that was something that helped me tremendously. And I still have to use that technique now. Just get off. And there again, being open with my family around me to know that I'm having a hard time right now.
Yes. I think that is just, we're going to say that again and again today, but that being honest with what you need, where you are. And I think, when I think about our spouses, I know many of us talk about that we are more open, and maybe it's because, we've found each other and we're going and talking about these things. And, that's so important for our spouses too. Like for those of you, that know men that have lost children, that they're going to go through all of these same physical pains, and they might not,
but they're men.
Have the vocabulary.
Yes, they are men.
Talk about it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just not as socially accepted.
So there's depression, and then what I've always learned with my depression is anxiety. I've lived with anxiety most of my life,
and do you feel that it really increased after you lost Alec, or you notice it more, or just kind of it has higher peaks and valleys?
I think that my medication keeps me grounded on that.
Yeah.
Because I used to worry about so much, and I was on medication even prior to Alec's passing because my anxiety was too much.
Yeah.
And so I found that right dosage, and then the depression came in afterwards, so then I had to find the right dosage for that. But I have anxiety about different things now
Yeah.
than
And
I
for
ever
me,
thought about before.
yeah. And for me, it isn't necessarily like a constant anxiety for
Mm-hmm.
me. It'll be almost like those trigger moments. And I mean, it's just, sometimes it relates to irrational fears, and other times it's, like I'm a high school teacher. And so sitting at graduation this year, of course, I knew it was going to be emotional. I
Yes.
knew I would have a hard time, different place, during the graduation. And I had, prepped myself ahead of time, but sitting in that graduation, the anxiety level got so intense.
Mm-hmm.
And, I had to fall back on, like you said, some of those
Mm-hmm.
counseling things. And
Your
for me,
five senses
yeah,
is
the
what you.
five senses, being able to just look around and ground myself with those five senses. And that really helps, I think, with the anxiety a bit. How many of us dealt with anxiety? What was the
Oh, it was
percentage?
100%.
100%.
100%. And then 80% stated that they have irrational fears, which an irrational fear is something that is, it has like a 99% chance of not happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so out there.
Yeah.
But it could.
Right.
And you focus on that 0.1% that could happen.
Yeah.
Because I think that 1.1% thing that has happened to us.
Yeah. So why won't we be another small percentage again?
Yes, and I think that, because of that, that's my belief.
Yeah. What's really strange for me, just recently, only because I've been in this situation, but I've always been afraid of heights.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been on some trips lately where different hikes, we've been,
On
really
the
high and on bridges and different things. I mean, that irrational fear of heights is just amplified.
Is it really?
Yes. And that was really surprising. My husband was even like, honey, I just don't ever, we've been married 28 years. He's like, I don't remember you having this terrible fear
That
of
bad.
heights. Yeah. And I think that's part of that, is that irrational fear is amplified.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's what, you can't change things on me. My anxiety it goes from 0 to 60 way faster. It used to take a minute and I could talk myself down. Now it's like,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah. Yeah.
just no. Like, there's not even, let me work my way into this. It is flat out no. And I'll shut it down right then and there. And people, thank goodness, mostly my husband, will say, okay, move on. And sometimes he'll laugh because it's the stupidest thing ever.
Well, and I think about, that 100% of us. And so, if any of you are listening that have, that you're not the grieving mom, that have spouses or, granddaughters
Friends or anything.
Friends, whomever, that you remember that the anxiety is different, and it's
real.
It is real. Yeah. And it's really hard for us.
It is. Yes.
I mean, so much is.
So much.
Anxiety.
Yeah. But and you made a good point. These are good things for people that love someone who have lost a child, or anything for that matter, that to be kind to them.
Yes.
Because that depression is real. Their irritability, they could have just been irritable before too. They could just be their personality. But a lot of times it's not, I know it's not my personality, but I'll still snap sometimes. And it's just.
Yeah, it's good practice, because we don't know what someone is going through.
And it could be a door to talk to them about it.
Right. Yeah.
You used to not be this afraid of heights. What's going on?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this is something that's changed since Carter's passed,
Right.
So, I know that, sleeping.
Yeah.
Do you sleep too much? Do you sleep not enough?
It goes in, in spurts for me. Right now I'm in where I don't need much sleep. And I'm, that gets to our next topic, just filling our days. Like I am just, it feels almost manic, that I know that I'm doing 10 million things in a day and accomplishing a lot more than maybe many people
Because I look
would.
at you and I'm like, are you sure? Because I know you're starting, you're doing this, that, and other. And you're like, oh, no, we're good.
I know. And that is
because
a little
I'm
crazy.
the opposite of you.
Yeah.
And I sleep all the time.
Well, and I go through that phase where it is all the time. Yeah. And I mean, I remember, talking to my counselor and my husband, he's like, we just have to find a way that you're not sleeping so much. I mean, you have to participate
in life.
And with Greta. And it's so true. And it's hard.
It is. But, when we're talking about this, but there are times that I'm like, I can't go to sleep at night, and I'm up in the morning and I'm like, let's go. Mm-hmm. But more so, I just want to sleep all the time.
Yeah.
And it's a challenge.
Strategy, like, I don't know what your strategies are, but even I remember my first, one of my first trips by myself after losing Carter, and I was staying with a friend in Denver. And I remember just telling her, just so you know, when I come, I'm going to need an hour and a half, 2-hour nap every day. Like that's a for sure. And
yes.
She was so sweet. She even got darkening curtains in the room.
Thank you, Debbie.
And, just to help with that. And now every time I come, she, like, you have your room, you have your space. If you need it, no big deal. I carve some time.
Yes.
And I don't need it as much as I did those, first 4 or 5 years.
Well, and having little ones, I know Layla, she would get off the bus at, 3:00. I would take a nap before I would get her off the bus. I'm lucky enough that I could do that. But just an hour power nap even. And I would set my alarm 15 minutes ahead of time.
Yeah. And gifting yourself. I've, talked to my family members, and, my mom has never been a napper. And
some people aren't.
Yeah, and she's not. And I was like, Mom, it's okay. Like, this is heavy on us. And gift yourself that time so that you can, have that quiet space, and it gives you kind of some, inner strength to deal with the rest of your day.
I have to refuel my brain because it goes crazy. It's just like my anyway.
How many of us fill our time with activities?
Okay. Staying busy, 80%.
Isn't that something?
And I was probably the only one that said.
I don't know. You're pretty busy.
I stare at the wall.
And I think a lot of us would say we have these moments, but for the most part,
I do have to fill myself with projects.
Yes.
And they're large projects. Mm-hmm. They're not, let me unload the dishwasher projects. They are podcast projects.
Yeah, all encompassing.
Yes, all ongoing large projects. Yeah. But I also do like to just
And for me, I'm super,
check out.
I love being out in nature is definitely one of my needs, and then a creative outlet. And so that's kind of how I deal with that piece. Is like, I know on Carter's birthday last weekend, I planned a hike. I planned to go to Carter's Bench. But then I also went to Michael's and bought canvases and paints. And I spent 3 hours painting stuff that I'm going to put in my classroom. Whether or not they'll actually hang on the walls is really...
That's not the point, Michelle.
Yeah.
That is not the point. And that is, you bring it to a big thing, is a hobby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I remember saying something one time. I was like, I'd like to paint. And somebody said, well, do it. I was like, well, I'm not that good. They said, that's the point of the hobby. That is the point of a hobby. It's something that you think is fun.
Yeah, that you just enjoy for the sake of it.
Yes. Mm-hmm. We actually have a room in our basement that, I don't think I've ever taken you down there. And it's our graffiti wall.
Oh, cool.
Layla and I get down there, and it's just a wall where her, in her area in the basement, and all of her friends get to do it, and we just...
That is so cute.
And it's a graffiti wall.
Yeah.
And just have fun with it. You buy the dollar paints at Walmart, and it's just a fun time for all. So, and I get down there, and
love that.
I love it too. So
I think the only kind of major category we haven't talked about is really that anger, irritability, bitterness. We had some high percentages with those too.
Yes. Probably, I'm looking at this, and it's about 80%. The irritability, anger is about 70%. And I don't think that's all the time.
No.
I don't, knowing the people that we spoke to, they're not always angry.
Yeah.
They might be angry for a couple of weeks. Or
it's
even
definitely on and, it's maybe buried down a little bit further than our other emotions, for sure. And that's something that I know all of us talk about as warrior moms is we are all so intentional. There we go. I think I started that intentional about getting up and what's on our day and trying to find joy and allowing ourselves to be angry when, for a bit, but then finding a way to move beyond that.
We cannot live angry.
Yeah.
You will never find joy if you live angry. No. And it is, whether it be forgiving, if someone was the person that caused your child to die, forgiving that person. And I know that's so easy for me to sit here and say.
Yeah, because I'm not there.
Yes, but you still find that moment, and you still find moments to be happy.
Yeah, where are the blessings?
Yes.
That's what I try to find is, that I had this student, it was unbelievable, a 10th grader last year that was supposed to be taking a vocab quiz, came in over lunch and was like, I've got a really tough question for you, Miss Davis. Do you mind if I ask you something about Carter? And I was like, oh gosh, please. I love talking about him no matter what the question is. And he's like, okay, well, this is a tough one. You don't have to answer. And he's like, so have you forgiven Carter's killer?
Oh, wow.
And I was like, gosh, that is so huge. And he said, I'm a Christian and I know we're supposed to forgive. Where are you? And I said, well, that's something that I have conversations with God about daily.
I bet you do.
And kind of where I've come to a place is that I wake up and try to find the blessings around me. And that's, in a way, at least right now, is how I'm forgiving. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That I'm putting aside that particular action and instead trying to find the light that is all around us.
And that is, to me, that is so much harder than just missing your child.
Yes.
There's that extra level of anger.
Yes, absolutely. And it's no wonder we have that feeling. And then the exhaustion, it's like all goes backwards to all these physical pains.
Yeah, think about how angry I just think about, I don't get angry very often. But there are times that I get angry and I'm tired. Like, I'm like, I have to have a nap. You just made me so mad. I need a nap.
I know.
And so there are other levels to this anger that you can't allow to rule your life.
Yeah. And that's a tough one. And that's where I know, in talking with all the moms, we've all done various different types of counseling, and we'll talk about some of that in future podcasts. But seeking help, I got stuck, so to speak. They say in this trauma journey that you have this movie that just plays and plays. And that's why we have all these physical ailments. Mm-hmm. And seeking professional help at various points when it's like, I can't get through this on my own, nor should we need to.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why we have Warrior Moms, right?
What was interesting is when you and I were, framing this podcast, we were talking about the 5 stages of grief. And nowhere in this list of physical ailments have any of those words really, other than anger.
What were they?
Have come up.
No, we need to. Okay, so Elisabeth Kübler-Ross is the one that coined. We're going to give her.
Yeah, credit.
Credit where credit's due. See, there's that brain thing that those words don't come to us. Those 5 stages she defined in 1969 book on Death and Dying. It says, so it was denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Mm-hmm. So, yes, these were the 5 stages that she did. But later on in her life, it's crazy because she actually said, I was wrong. I was wrong for defining grief as 5 words and a definitive 1, 2, 3. And they said, oh, you can go back and forth through those a few times. Okay.
We got to find her.
Yeah. You can go back and forth a few times, but this is it. And then you accept it and ta-da!
Yeah.
And you and I both know anybody that has grief, I don't care if you've lost a child, a spouse, a
pet.
parent, a pet,
Yes.
it does not,
It's not linear.
It's not linear. It's not like, oh, okay, denial. Okay, check.
Check, done that.
Yeah.
What's the next one?
Next one, check. And I wanted
and it
that.
actually can be like all in
one day.
Of 1 hour.
Even an hour, yes.
You know?
Well, and I'm the type, I want to check that box. I want to know what my next step is. I want to check it off so I can get better.
Yes.
And I can be normal again.
And that's what was hard reading books, right when we lost Carter. I was just craving what can I do to survive this? And, so many of the books that I read was all about the 5 stages of grief, which is important, right? Is to understand those different stages. And one of the books that I read, maybe it was a couple, talked about how you do have to understand the stages so you don't get stuck.
Yes.
And I think that's what we were referring to with anger, is that, it would be so easy to just get stuck.
Just stay there.
Yeah.
And me with the depression. Yeah. Just stay on the sofa.
Yeah, exactly.
So what did you find where Elisabeth Kübler?
Here it is. Okay, at least I think it is. So it says, even Kübler-Ross said that grief doesn't proceed in a linear, there we go, and predictable fashion, writing toward the end of her career that she regretted her stages had been misunderstood. The unfortunate side effect of society's erroneous but firm belief in the 5 stages is that many people wind up criticizing themselves for not doing grief right. And that's why we wanted to talk about this today, because we want you all who are listening, we want just each other, right? It's a good reminder for each other that grief is physical and it morphs and changes. We've all talked about what is this grief? How does it change? Some people say it's softer. Some people say absolutely not. It is, exactly the same, but it does change in some way. And that's because I think as warrior moms continue to grow and face this and work on our grief.
I think you're the same way I am. And I know other moms are like this too, is I'm very aware. I've become acutely aware of where I am. Yeah. And if I just keep going back to napping on the sofa all day, but if I go to my bed to take a nap in the middle of the day, that's a huge red flag for me. If I'm napping multiple times a day, that's a huge red flag for me. And I can do it 1 or 2 days, but after a few days, I'm like, okay, Amy, let's go back to those. Yeah. Let's go back to those exercises that you did early on because, I did it just several weeks ago.
Well, and you and I had, I thought, just a really important conversation about, we had recorded several moms' stories last week.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
And you had said to me, gosh, are you having a hard time these past couple days? And I hadn't thought about that, but yes, I was really feeling low, and those trauma moments were flashing up again,
and we know these moms and personally, and we know their children. We didn't know their children, but now we know their children, and their stories are so heavy on us because we feel and we know. And I think that has a lot to do with it. But you hear, or something else happens in the community or in the news that, when people go missing. Oh, yeah. That's hard for me.
So triggering, I'm sure.
Yes. And so, but you learn how to deal with it and work through it. And you just pray for that mama. I pray for the mama. Yeah. Always.
And that, all the people surrounding her and her family show up.
Yes. Yeah. So, well.
Yeah. And I think that's really our message today. We think about that quote is that we're just hoping that we, our conversations bring a little hope and some normalcy into dealing with such deep grief.
Yes. And one day you can, you recognize all these things, and one day you are going to be someone else's lifeline.
Yeah. And so one of the things, to think about, and maybe if you're doing journal things, are, even if, like Amy said, it doesn't have to be that you write it down, but you're just kind of doing this checklist of go through these physical pains that we talked about today. and just do a check-in. Where are you?
Mhm.
And, do you need to seek professional help to get you to the next kind of
Or do you need to
moment?
find a buddy?
Buddy to go
Oh,
walk?
yes, anything just to get out. And I'm just going to read these again, and we'll put them in the show notes.
Mm-hmm.
I think Michelle actually knows how to do that now, so this is good. But some of these are in no particular order, but it's brain frog, brain fog, forgetfulness, sleeping too little or too much, a lack of energy, anxiety, internal fears, or irrational fears,
Mhm.
which are really internal.
Yeah.
So, anger and bitterness, eating too much or too little, staying busy, or just totally regressing and not busying yourself at all. Irritability, did we already do that one? So those are just a few of the ones that those physical symptoms of grief. So yeah, like Michelle said, go through, just give yourself a brain, just think about it.
Checklist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
See where you are.
yeah.
Well, as always, Amy, thanks for the conversation. I feel that I am healthier when I leave.
With these, yes, I do.
It does. I just, it's good reminders for myself too of just to check in.
Absolutely,
Where am I?
check in. Where am I? And
Yes.
where do I want to be?
Exactly.
That is always. Well, we want to thank y'all so much for being here once again, and I hope you enjoy your day and find some silver linings somewhere in today.
Bye.
Bye.